What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Inside the Lines. We have some game twos in the NBA to talk about to get ahead of. Lines are already moving. Props are changing, so we're trying to get ahead of that while we can. Not too much baseball today, but I'm bringing in some WNBA for the team, okay? We got 3 games tonight, making my WNBA debut. Very excited about that. All right, time to bring in the crew and time to bring in this stunning recap screen that includes 3 for 5 on Dinger Tuesday, plus 12 units. I believe we're somewhere around plus 16 units on this whole slate, I'm pretty sure.
And then, of course, Alonso homers the next day. I was like, I want to bet Rooker to homer. He did get a double. So he didn't homer, but it was almost the 2 guys that didn't almost homer the next day.
Yeah.
I believe this is probably our second biggest day since we had that amazing Super Bowl, 60 whatever units. So
yeah,
it's only down from here.
Yep. So tail as you please today, but you've been warned that the past 2 days have been way too awesome to be sustainable. I'll be the first to say it. But you know what? I feel really good about our picks here. I'm not going to lie. So let's jump right into the NBA, and then we'll hit the W after, and I'll give out some of my picks. So let's head over to the model. We'll talk about what's going on tonight with Indiana-Boston Game 2. A few plays we like here, going back to some oldies and some newies here with TJ McConnell.
Yeah, so so in the model, we only have 14.8 points and assists projected, but so it's not a huge number above 14.5, but I think that our value is a floor because we're only projecting 9.5 points for McConnell, and he's been very aggressive offensively, recently. He's gone over 15 points in 4 of his last 9 games, so I think that we're underselling him there, so that's why I feel good about 14.8 points and assists being kind of a floor. He averages more points and assists on the road than at home this season. Comes in 8-3 over this number, and I think that the model has a lot of value on over 4.5 assists alone. But my record on just over assists have kind of stunk this year, so I thought I'd, get the points and assists as a way to covering my ass.
Yeah, I like this play too. I'm going to give it out and steal it from you on a Sportsline HQ later tonight. I saw some questions about Siakam, who was someone we were talking about that I was kind of high on, just thinking that what he was doing was super sustainable. Just the mismatch here. I know Jake liked Miles Turner as well, but let's talk about Siakam. Do we have any values on his assist?
Let's see the line, probably, because I said we have 4.6 assists. My problem with Siakam and his assists, like we have tons of value at plus 104 over 3.5, and maybe it's even better on some sports books. But since going to Indiana, his assist numbers, while good recently, have been kind of all over the map. But he was much more consistent. For a couple of years, he was like a 5.5 type 6 assist type player for Toronto. Mm-hmm. So he does much less of that in Indiana for obvious reasons. But and I don't know if I like the fact that he just had 7 assists in a high scoring game for him to have another big game. But at 3.5, obviously the model has a lot of value. But again, I just mentioned my personal record on over and assists is not very good.
Well, technically it wouldn't be your record. It's just advising someone. So I'd say we just can't personally take it right now, given our circumstances. Jake, quickly, I know it's not an official play, but if you want to shed some light on Miles Turner here.
Yeah, we hit that in the first half, but I was surprised the 15.5 from the last game only went up to 16.5, which is hit in the last 3. Like I said the other day, that Turner, I think, is the biggest mismatch of anyone. Siakam, yeah, he's a mismatch because of his length, depending on who's guarding him. If Horford guards him, he's a mismatch. But really, there's no one who could size up with Turner on the Celtics with Kristaps out. And he made 3 threes, but he really did a lot of his work in the first half, was getting offensive rebounds, getting layups. So that's why I still like that. And he was efficient because he had 13 shots, and he went way over his line. So I even played kind of like I did a little bit of a ladder where I played his over 15.5 points and then 20-plus points. So both of those hit. I don't mind doing something like that again today.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Big Cheesy taking someone on his S list. Bold move. Going to Sam Hauser over 3.5 points. We can't all be as brave as you, Big Cheesy, but I respect the play. Trying to get someone on there.
We like it. We have him over 5 points, but that assumes he plays 15 minutes, which would be a high for a recent stretch.
Right.
So I'm not loving that. This one also, unfortunately, I think I just checked. 15.5 was the line for Derek White for the first over 24 hours, maybe third day and a half after game one. But the lowest number I see right now is 16.5. I also see 17.5 some places. So if you do like White over, you want to get it now. The model has 17.5, so we'd still have value at 16.5 on line, or fading the home trend. But his scoring, he was awesome against Miami, and then he had that dip between game 2 and 4. But I attribute that to me being in Korea and not watching him. So now that I'm back, back. He'll surely explode. He needs me. Other guards who average similar kind of points, 14 to 16 points, they average a ton versus Indiana because Indiana is a high-scoring team, plays high-scoring games. But they average 18.5 on the road at Indiana, but even nearly 20 at home versus Indiana, 9-6 over. So that's a lock.
Any thoughts on his assists over 5? I guess we have slate value at 5.2.
Yeah, if the line's not bad, if it's plus money, then yes, we love it. If it's minus 120 or more than that, probably not.
Okay. As far as the game, really quick, just as in general, do we have any value here on the spread or the total?
The public is heavy on Indiana. The consensus line is ticked from -9 to -8.5. Model still favors Boston. Now there is that game 2 Boston thing where they keep losing game 2s. I think you have to
that now. I think that's a little ridiculous to lose another game 2.
Yeah.
How many? Has it been? How many game 2s have they lost?
But between the Bruins and the Celtics, they've lost the last 8 game 2s.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I can't keep going.
Right? Not in game 2 city.
Yeah. Big Cheesy talking about a lot of people fading Al Horford in this spot. We got it hit his over. It does feel a bit unsustainable to be doing what he was doing. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, so the line went up from 19.5 to 21.5. Now I'm seeing 20.5. So it's come back down. The good thing about him is he wasn't hitting his shot, but he was taking a ton. I mean, he's had 12 and 13 3-point attempts the last 2 games. So, I would say his rebound of just 6 was kind of low given his 40 minutes. So I think that I'd go for it. I wouldn't be scared to go over again because if anything, he's going to break out of his shooting slump.
Mm-hmm.
What you could do is maybe plays 3s instead. If you think he's going to hit that,
I think it's plus
1.5.
Yeah, at plus money at 1.5 because they're leaving him open. If he breaks out of his slump, he probably hits that number, and it's plus money instead of minus 120 they have to pay. But it hasn't been because it's gone from 19.5 to 21.5. There's a little bit of middle opportunity or trying to get both sides and get plus money on both sides. So that's always an option as well.
Okay. And someone was asking about Obi Toppin, who I also thought I feel like his line's at 8.5 right now. He went over this last game. I feel like if he goes over it again, that might be could be the end of the 8.5s we see. It might not just be, a one-off. Yeah. You guys agree?
We have like 9 exactly. So if the line's up to 9.5, then that's not good. If you get 8.5 at minus 133, I don't think that's very good value. So I think I'd stay away
where we have it.
Yeah. So we don't have any model value on him. He's just been kind of hit or miss. Mm-hmm. He has had a really zigzag kind of thing going right now. 22, 14, 7, 11, 3, 15. And if the trend continues, then it's going to go under.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the game tomorrow. Looking at the Mavs headed back to Minnesota. I was saying how I wanted to, I took Luka with you, Steven, and obviously I was happy to cheer for my prop, but I was so sad to cheer against our Timberwolves, which makes me not really want to take a Mavericks prop anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, we said that we like both teams as road dogs in this series. And so game 1 kind of went what we thought that the model was picking up, that we actually favored Minnesota more in Dallas than at home versus Dallas. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and again, the Luka over is the most important thing in our lives.
Mhm.
And
It was.
Minnesota, we still actually the Sims, we still favor Minnesota at 50.1% to win the series because we have been playing well at Dallas.
Right.
But I actually am gonna go back to. I've added this. I don't know if you put it in your recap screen. I didn't put any notes down because
I got you. I got you.
I did go back to this. I saw Luka's number one from 45.5 to 46.5, but now I see it back down to 45.5 in a lot of places. So I'm going to go with that again because, again, I think that 24 field goal attempts is kind of a lock for him these days. And he hit the over with just, he had like one rebound, I want to say, for most of the first half. Maybe he got a second one right before the half, but he really didn't do much rebounding in the first half. So he only had 14 rebounds and assists. So to get over on those modest numbers, I like that. So I think that, and Kyrie had a big first half, but I think maybe there'd be more attention laid on him. So I'm at 45.5, I would go back to Luka because again, that's 5 points under his season average.
Yeah, I'm going to I'm taking his over 2.5 threes. It's really pricey. It's like minus 170, but I just that like 3 threes from a guy who's shooting, 8, 9, 10 attempts a game, was 3 for 10 last game, and I felt like he even had a slow start in the first quarter. So like imagine if he doesn't. Yeah. And we have him for 3.5, it looks like. But I guess all the same storyline here. I just feel like 3 threes for a guy like him deep in the playoffs is why it is minus 175, I suppose.
Yeah, I like that. I think the public has bet this heavily on, the lines moved from Minnesota. It was out to minus 5.5. Now it's swung back to minus 5. I think people figure Minnesota can't lose 2 games in a row at home. They just did against Denver. So, I wouldn't necessarily buy into that. I do like the Jaden McDaniels over 5.5 rebounds and assists. This was a 3.5 early in the playoffs. Was that
his
true?
rebounds were 2.5 at one point?
Yeah.
When Jake took it.
So obviously people are catching on the fact that he's playing more minutes because he's been shooting lights out recently, which is not expected of him. He's also like the primary defender on Lucas, so I expect him to get 35 plus minutes because he's been shooting well and his defensive needs. So the model, again, I would consider this 5.6 as almost as a floor, and there's plus money on over 5.5. I looked at it when he does play 35 more minutes this season. The over is 13-7. So that's that. I like that. I like them to play at least 35 minutes.
Yeah. No, I like this play a lot. Just as much as our boy Naz Reid, who see, I know you got him at 9.5. It is up to 10.5. Do you guys think this would move to 11.5 or no? I
hope not. But because then if it does, then maybe we'll be in a fancy Jake Fettner middle situation.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't like that. I don't like thinking about it. But the model only has 11 points. I think that we're underselling him because he should see around 22 to 25 minutes. And I thought that obviously his over is really strong for this season. And a lot of that was when Karl-Anthony Towns was out. But even when he only plays 22 to 25 minutes, the over is 21-8. The playoffs where everyone's been there, it's 9-4. He averages over 12 with Karl-Anthony Towns this season. So all the numbers would indicate that, 12 to 13 points in 20-something minutes is an order. In Denver, he went over in a couple of games where he wasn't shooting well from 3 either, and he looked good game 1. He was hitting some big threes.
Yeah. Joe's saying Naz needs more fourth quarter minutes. Naz just needs more minutes. That's our boy.
Yeah. It's better than Karl-Anthony Towns, who was kind of flailing with a bunch of. Yeah. He wasn't shooting with much confidence, and he was. I don't know what he was doing. I was just hoping that a couple of his air balls would count as turnovers, but they weren't. That was over 2.5.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some WNBA, boys. I'm going to start running this ship here. I know I might be our most knowledgeable person in this league, which is probably the first of that situation. All right, we got 3 games tonight. I've been doing my homework, as you guys have known. We're going to who are they playing? Minnesota Lynx are playing the Connecticut Sun. Okay, so that's like, for reference for everyone who doesn't know, that's like one of the top 3 big wigs, and then like the Lynx are like right below that situation. Spreads around 6, but we are targeting one of the Sun player, Dewana Bonner, over 24.5 points and rebounds. This is just, I think, a case of the odds makers not knowing what's going on and not paying attention, because she's gone over this in every game so far this season in all 3. And then when she played the Lynx last season, She went over this in all 4 games in the playoff series. It was, where is it? I have it written down. 27, 35, 29, 32. So I don't really know what I'm missing here. Seems to make a little too much sense. I think it's just a situation where odds makers aren't paying attention, which I think we're going to run into a lot early in the season. So this is the time to be betting the WNBA. Okay, we're going to move on.
I'm just asking a question. I see on OddsJam only FanDuel lines. Are they the ones that are pretty much doing all the WNBA and the other books aren't?
DK has some. They don't have a ton.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I see someone's on Angel Reese under points. I actually like her over. I'm going to start with the Sky in general. They're 16.5-point dogs against the Liberty. Rule of thumb in general for the WNBA early in the season is like nobody is covering 16.5-point spreads. I don't care if it's the Liberty. I don't care if it's the Aces. That's just like not really going to happen. And the Liberty have not been taking care of business against the spread. They are 1-3 against the spread, and they are 0-3 when the spread is double digits. So they've also played each other in the preseason, which I know that doesn't mean a ton, but you can tell that the Sky are not an awesome team, but they're definitely trying really hard. It's like a young team trying really hard to play defense. So I think they played an awesome offensive team, the Dallas Wings, and held them to 74-79. So I don't think they're going to hold the Liberty to that, but I think they can keep this game close with defense. However, Angel Reese, I do like to go over her 11.5 points because she's had 11 in one game and 12 in the other, shooting horrendously, like on terrible shooting, like was 2 for 8 from the free throw line and still got 12 points. So I feel like I'm thinking the regression is up. I think she's like due for like a 15-point game here potentially. And in the preseason game, again, doing my research against Brianna Storr, who she'll be matched up against, she was like kind of like kicking her butt. So I like that a lot. And I think like Liberty, New York, big light situation, Angel Reese, like I think this is a time that she wants to, that she's going to pop off here. Last game, Mercury playing the Mystics, Mercury -7. The Mystics, the best NBA comparison is like the Nets when everybody left is right now what the Mystics are, and they're just lost and they're dazed and confused. And the Mercury are kind of kicking butt. That was the team I said they were like a big 3, but no one can stay healthy. But the one girl, Copper, is really just taking care of business on her own. And they're 3-0 ATS this season and just beat the best team in the league. So I think they can take care of the Mystics, who have a terrible offense and average defense. And that's all I need to know. So those are my WNBA picks. Any thoughts, boys? Any comments, questions, concerns?
No.
I like it. Angel Reese from Baltimore, so you know.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I mean, small, but
what was the drama with DeWanna Bonner that like her ex-wife was in a fight? Did you see that?
I think like she's married to somebody on the team.
No, so it was like she got fouled hard, and her teammate's ex-wife was pushed her, like her own teammate pushed her or something like that, defending her ex. So I saw that all over TikTok today.
I'll say the WNBA
drama.
The WNBA drama is wild. Like people are dating each other, people are having babies, going on like maternity leave. It's wild. There's nothing like it.
Oh, watch it with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, because it sounds like this could be me and my wife. Our one thing in common in terms of entertainment is like The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like we can have a combination of sports and a bachelorette, you know, type situation. With
I'm telling you, they got the drama. They'll keep it interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw someone asking about Bonner's points. I think there's value there. I'm pretty sure she's gone over 18.5 points every game this season too. I think almost every game when they played Minnesota in the postseason last year, she had one game where she had 17 points, but that was it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing here. I really just think this is an overlooked line, which I'm assuming we'll run into a good bit here.
And you see Bet Rivers is offering plus money a lot of these overs, where a lot of other books are like -120, -115.
Yeah. As far as over-unders for these games, the Chicago Liberty game, I'd lean under just because the Sky, I think, will clamp down on the Liberty offense a bit. Other than that, it's above my pay grade. I just research what I can, pick what I like. So we got quite the basketball recap today. We got 5 player props for the association game 2s and a handful of WNBA plays. And I'll be giving all of these out right after the show on HQ in case you want a second round just for kicks. I'll be here. All right, no show tomorrow. I almost forgot. Starting on Monday, Memorial Day, we are going back to the 1 p.m. time for the summer season for football. Again, just makes more sense given MLB season, the early games, the early lines that we can get for these playoff games as well. So starting Monday, we're back to 1 p.m. I'll set some reminders on Twitter as well. We won't be here tomorrow, but again, Monday at 1. Hopefully that is more convenient for everyone else. It seemed to be. So we'll see you guys then. So good luck with your bets, and we will see you Monday.